Hey guys, welcome back to creativevfx.net, another tutorial on the basic series training. This time we're going to talk about expression. So this is a quick one. So expression, what is that? I know that a lot of people are afraid of using it because not too many video editors are computer programmers. So don't be intimidated by that. I was like that myself, and I just learned the basic stuff and the most useful ones. So basically today we're only gonna touch ground on expressions, not dwell into it or nothing like that. Just talk about it and show some quick little examples. So basically, expression explained very simple is that it's a JavaScript. So it's JavaScript based programming language, and basically it allows you to manipulate time-based streams in After Effects. This means you can manipulate with every parameter, like keyframes where we use a stopwatch. Then you can make the whole process automated for you by using expression. Let's start by adding a new project. Go in here and let's just add two layers. We'll make a blue layer and we'll make it square, 300 times 300 pixels, and we'll duplicate that, Control D. And this one, the top one, we want another color, so go to Layer, Solid Settings, choose let's just check a red color, hit OK, and then we'll move this. I just hit P on the keyboard to reveal its position. Move it to the right. Okay. So in one of the other lessons we talked about parenting, where if you, for example, use this whip here, parent the blue layer to the red. Now the blue one is parented to the red layer, which means if I go into the red properties, let's say I move it, the red one moves along because now it's parented. And the same with the scale, it moves along. But look here, not the position. So this is one of the situations where expression comes in handy. So let's see, let's pump up the value for the opacity again. So expressions, to enable an expression on the PC here, I hold down Alt on the keyboard and then click on any of the values. So let's take, for example, let's go down, we unparent the blue to the red one. Okay, let's hit the transform properties down here on the blue one. So we want the blue one, if we want that to achieve the same parameters as the red one, then you'll hold down Alt on the keyboard and then hit on any of the stopwatches for the parameter you want to modify. In this case, the opacity. I click on the stopwatch with the Alt keep selected, and it will reveal the expression for this opacity right now. Expression opacity, which is transform opacity. So transform is because it's under transform category. It's the main parameter hitting, and then beneath that it's opacity. So now this is just Alt and click on the opacity. This just reveals the expression. Now we want to link it to the opacity for the red layer. Take the pick whip here, hold down, move it up to the opacity up here, and release. Now look at the expression. This comp dot layer red solid 2, which is this one, transform opacity. Hit enter on your keyboard to finalize, to complete this expression, like so. So right now it inherits the opacity value from the red. So basically this expression, very simple explain, is that this comp, which means this comp, which is comp 2, and then layer is looking for the layers in comp 2, so all the layers here, and then it looks for the red solid 2. There's two layers, and it's looking at the red solid 2 layer, and it's looking at the transform property here and the opacity. So now look what happens when I touch the opacity for the blue layer. You see that? Nice. Okay, so Another cool thing with also expression that it automated things for is like, for example, let's check the value of this opacity on the red layer. So if we want to animate this, for example, like a stop blinking siren, something like that, we would save them. Here's 100%, and then down again, up again, down again, I mean, and so on, right? You would just make a bunch of these keyframes. With expression, you can actually just have 2 keyframes. So, like so. So, it has 100% and then 0%. So we have only 2 keyframes. Now we want to use expression called the loop ping pong. So hold Alt again to enable expression on the opacity. Hit it. And then you will write something like this. Loop out, parentheses. And then in the parentheses you will write ping pong. And it is basically what it says it is. It's ping-ponging back and forward. So it's going through the first keyframe, looking for the second one, and then goes back again. Just like ping pong. So let's hit the spacebar. Let's see how it's gonna work. See that? How cool is that? So it's automating things for us. If you don't need to see the expression without deleting it, you can hit this button, enable expression. Now the enable is not, or now the expression is not enabled. We just have these 2 keyframes here. That's why it fades out again. And you can hit it back again if you want. Now we have them back. And if you if you want to delete it, the expression, you can simply just hit here, select it, delete it. The same with the keyframes, delete them. And the same thing of course goes for the rotation. So let's check the rotation here, and alt click the rotation, pick the rotation up to our red layer's rotation, enter. Okay, so now it's expressed up to the rotation value of the red layer. So let's play with another expression. Hold Alt down again, enable the expression for rotation. Remember, whatever we do here now, the blue expression for rotation is set to fix on the red one. So whatever the red ones do, the blue will follow. So another cool expression is the time. Remember, you can use this expression, these values, on all the parameters, not just now we're on rotation, but you can also do it on scale, opacity, whatever. So times 20 on the rotation. So from current time, it's gonna look at the rotation value and times it with 20. So in this case, the rotation is gonna be the degrees. Let's look at that. Okay. So, and if it's a little too slow for you taste, then just bump up the value. See that? You can really make some interesting, cool things with the expression, and I can automate everything for you. Let's just go crazy here. 2000. Just for the sake of tutorial. Look how fast it's gonna spin now. Cool, right? Okay. Another expression I also want to talk about, and remember, we are just keeping this basic. I mean, this can be as advanced as you want it, because it can be complex. You can really build some really huge complex projects with some huge complexity and some really big expressions in there, which when you look at it, you'll definitely go scared away if you've never seen an expression before, because some people really only take use of expression instead of animating manually with keyframes. So it's really deep, and there's a lot of mathematics also involved in this. But we're just keeping it to the simples, and let's talk about another expression, and it's the wiggle. The wiggle is probably the expression that most people in the world use and knows about. So the wiggle expression, to best explain this, is that it's an expression that can add random variation to virtually any parameter. And to make a wiggle, you only need to think about two things: how fast do you want it to wiggle, and how much. So remember, we can wiggle every parameter, right? So let's add an expression, or wiggle the expression to the, let's say, scale. Alt, enter, and then you'll just write wiggle parentheses semicolon, and then in here, remember how much do you want it to wiggle and how fast. So the first one is how fast. Let's say for 1 wiggle second, separated by a comma, and we wanted to the scale, let's say just 50. Remember, this is for the scale percentage. So let's see what it's gonna do. Yeah, that was for 50. Let's say 150. Yeah, you definitely get some weird, funny looking stuff there. Let's try to just parent without losing expression, parent the blue layer to the red one. Yeah, as you see, it's trying to follow along with the scale. So this is the wiggle. Really, really a useful expression. You can basically wiggle everything, anything. Let's just cut that and paste it in the position instead. Enable keyframe for position and Control V. So now we are still wiggling 1 second, but instead of 150 on the scale value, we are moving it 150 on the position value. So that means within the area it's moving 150 pixels. So that's the wiggle, which definitely you will use that a lot, especially on camera. If you set up a 3D scene and add some cameras in there, then also if you add a little wiggle expression on the position of the camera, it's gonna, you know, make a little subtle effect. Don't go crazy with the values, but just make a little subtle effect where you see the camera is moving from left to right, up and down. Really a nice, cool organic effect. And the same thing with let's just delete these two. Let's add a text in here, some text, and make it like that. That is fitted. Let's make this a 3D layer. Okay, let's scroll down the properties here. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, the anchor, position, scale, orientation. So okay, so let's see. Another cool thing I want to show you, the last thing is, before we wrap up here, is Alt on the position, enable the expression. Don't think about this going into too deep now. We said we want to keep it simple, but just to let you know that if you have some JavaScript language, you can apply some of the knowledge in here. For example, variables. So for example, we have the position, and this is the X, Y, and Z. So you can actually make an expression and define variables. So X equals, and then choose the pick whip, choose the X value, and end this with a semicolon, and then hit enter. Go to the next line, and write Y equals, take the pick whip, and then release it at the Y, semicolon, next line, set value equals, and this time we don't want it to equals to 0. We want to enable the expression with the index. So you write index, and index means this number here. So it's gonna read from the top and down. So right now we only have one layer, so it's gonna look at the one layer's index number, which is 1. And then to finalize this, we're gonna say close brackets and x comma y comma index times 30 in brackets. Okay, so now we have a little expression here. Hit enter. So let's see what's gonna happen. You can't see any notable change right now. So look at the numbers 30, right? And we said we wanted to increase this index number with 30. So look what happens when we duplicate the layer. Hit Control D and hit U to reveal its transform properties. So look at this one. This one has 30 and the next one layer has 60. So it's gonna increment section by 30 by each duplicate. So Control D, D, D. Now have a few of them, and if you see, this last one has 180 right now because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 layers right now, and if you divide that with the 6 with the 30, you will get these exact numbers. So if you look at the first one, U should be 30, next one should be 60, and then 90 and 110, oh sorry, 20, and so on. It increments by 30 each time because that's what we have declared down here with the index. It should times 30 each time. So what can you use this for? So now you can imagine that you can actually create some depth here. Let's add in our camera. Let's look at the camera. Just rotate a little bit, not too much. There, you can see we have created some depth here, and of course it's not a real 3D program. It's only a 2.5D, so that's why you have these 30 pixels in between them, and of course you can just go in there and set a very, very low number and then just increase the number of duplicates to get them a little bit tighter and closer. And then of course, let's see which one is which. You could go over here to the first one, hit the, is it the bevel alpha, go to this one, bevel alpha, increase the light angle, light intensity, get that down, and then you can play a little bit the shadow. You can play with the lighting. Remember, it's a 3D layer, so you can put in some maybe even some drop shadows. Could that be a thing here? That's emboss. Yeah, that also helped a little bit. I wanted to check the drop shadows. Yeah, that gave a little bit contrast in here. So that's how you can play a little bit around creating some 3D lookalike. You can definitely get some cool, and I will make another tutorial just with this topic here, creating some cool 3D lookalike text with expressions. So guys, thank you very much for this short lesson, and I hope to see you next time again. So have fun, guys.